It is the eve of Canada Day long weekend. For some who are already enjoying it, God bless you. You obviously knew what days to pick off. You look ahead in your calendars and you picked the right Monday to take off. If you are off today and enjoying an extra long weekend, all the power to you. God bless you. Unfortunately, some of us have to save our vacation time because we have upcoming events that we're actually going to be discussing tonight. So there's a lot to be discussed. I want to get through it fairly quickly because, as I said, Jim and Jay have lots to share with us as well. First and foremost, I want to take just a moment because I do believe that Steve's not going to be with us tonight, and the entire Shaw family, and it is in memory of Serena's birthday. They have a tradition, obviously, to commemorate her birthday, and they are doing it as we speak. So I want to say, on behalf of all of us here at CFN, including myself, thinking of you guys, thinking of you, Serena, and of course, what the entire Shaw family means to our CFN group. So if you have not received a reply from the inbox or from Steve directly, most likely it's the reason why is because they are commemorating her birthday. So on behalf of everyone here at CFN, we want to wish them a good night, and hopefully things get a little bit easier. Losing a child is never easy, but hopefully over time it is easier to deal with. But we're thinking of you guys. Big hugs, big kisses to the entire Shaw family. I'm not sure how old Serena would have been. That's the thing. One thing I was looking for before I went live tonight. If this is her birthday, what birthday would she be celebrating? But I'm sure if Steve's watching, he'll probably put it in or answer it at some point. But big shout out to the Shaw family. We are definitely thinking of you guys. Jim, nice to have you with us. As always, Tony, holy smokes, man, you are the giveaway king. If there's a giveaway out there in Instagram or Facebook land, you know where it is. You seem to find it. You got a friggin' nose for it, dude. Oh, Steve is with us. Nice to have you. Yeah, absolutely, buddy. I totally understand, and we are definitely going to be thinking of you while we go through this Monday night live, as we always do. And I want to thank everybody for joining us, as you do each and every Monday. Nick, nice to see you. Richard, always a pleasure to have you along, my friend. James Shembry, I do believe you got out fishing yesterday, or was it on the weekend? Maybe it was Saturday, maybe last week. I don't know. I saw you holding up a fish. Fantastic, buddy. I don't know where you find the time, but nice to have you along on a Monday. As I said, it is the eve of Canada Day long weekend. We celebrate Canada's birthday as the Shaws are celebrating their lost daughter's birthday. A little different in the overall appeal. I'm not going to try and play light of this at all because, as I said, we're celebrating the country's birthday, which is a celebration. Serena's birthday is not as much of a celebration, although we do constantly think of her and we'll never lose our thought of her. But needless to say, it is a weekend of celebration, and some folks have started already, and God bless those who have. Some are looking forward to starting tonight, maybe into tomorrow. But it is our country's birthday, and we should celebrate it for what it has done for us over the years. Maybe not just recently, but over the years. It's been a great home for a lot of us. Pete, always nice to see you, my friend. Thanks for joining us. Rob's in the house. Rocky had the boat out on the weekend. I saw that. Good for you. Brad's with us. Nice to have you along, Brad. Of course, Eve is here. Oh, it was yesterday, James. Fantastic, buddy. All righty. Well, I will say this. There was something that happened this past weekend, and it was freaking awesome. It's a bucket list. And I want to thank Walter and the rest of the Huck family for taking us along with your ride, with your journey. Things that you saw this morning, these were just a taste. These are just a taste of some of the fish and the video that's probably coming, because I know Taylor loves putting these videos together, but they shared what was an epic trip. And I want to thank Kilby Lodge. You guys have done us proud yet again. You know, in James was on his way doing the Coast to Coast CFN Coast to Coast tour. You took our buddy James out, and he never forgot that. And how it happened was James was literally fishing along the shoreline, and he drove by with a boat and said, "You want to come fishing? Like, I'll take you fishing." So James jumped in, and this is how we got to know Kilby Lodge. So big shout out. Thank you for taking our CFNers on what was a fantastic weekend. And let's take a little trip back and have a look at the trip that was for the Huck family.
Good morning. We are at Kilby Lodge in beautiful British Columbia. I gotta turn the camera around and show you guys this view.
They still do some down the way. Well, was it the Fraser where they use the river to...
This is where we're gonna be for the day.
So this is the Fraser River, in case folks aren't aware. That is the boat that they were fishing from.
This boat we're gonna be in today.
Yeah,
okay, we are live on the Fraser River. Jordan and Taylor, we're hooked up to a big sturgeon. We are about half an hour into this fight now. We keep switching out between people as our forearms start to give out. This thing keeps spooling line. It's a heavy fish. We've seen it jump twice, and we're estimating it to be about an 8-footer.
some beautiful fish. Well, I want to say thanks on behalf of CFN for taking us along. This was a bucket list trip for you and the rest of the Huck family, and I'll tell you, we are overjoyed and honored to have been a part of it in a small way. Glad you guys had fun. Glad you got home safely, and glad you have a tale or two to tell us the next time we see you. Looking good as always. Where else? Where do we want to start next? I've got a few things. Obviously, as everyone knows, we are commemorating our 10th anniversary. CFN's been around for 10 years now, maybe a little bit longer than that, but 10 years to the date almost. And we are commemorating that with some swag that's available. And I want to thank Richard Dunlop for doing a fantastic job. If you are looking for a hoodie or a hat, please reach out to Richard. He will point you in the right direction, and he will get it done. He's been in a bit of a lull right now. So, as I said, don't worry about making him too busy. He would actually appreciate it. So, as would all of us. So, needless to say, reach out to Richard Dunlop, and he will get what you need from a hoodie or hat perspective. And also, we are selling our 10th anniversary commemorative jersey. We have long sleeve, we have short sleeve, we have collars, we have no collars. There's so many different designs, so many options to choose from. There is a little bit of customization that you can do as well. And I want to thank Dan Coates for putting this together. And if you are looking to purchase, I remembered this time, Walt, that is the link that you need to go to. So if you want to purchase, as I said, one of these incredible hoodies, the link below is the link that you need in order to purchase. And I will say they're extremely reasonable. They're made right here in Canada. And we are honored to have Dan Coates and the entire VF Outdoors crew along with us for what is going to be, and has been so far, a very memorable 10th anniversary. Also, we have declared the CFN Fish Off a go. And when I say a go, there's over 100 anglers already submitted. And I'm glad that they've applied already, because we have some great early bird prizes that we're going to be giving out along the way. So as we get closer to the August 1st start date, Mike and I will be joining each other on Tuesday, and hopefully you along with it. And we will get you a prize pack that is going to be made up of some great stuff that is all made in Canada and all CFN proud. And let's take a look at just a snapshot of some of the prizes that you're going to be able to enjoy. Honored to have these folks along with us for the ride, and they have offered up some great prizes for the early bird prize of the CFN Fish Off. For those who want to know a little bit more, this is all of the information that you need. It starts August 1st. It goes till September 1st, basically Labor Day weekend. The multi-species prizes are there. I want to thank Shimano in a huge way. We can't thank Shimano enough. You have stepped up in a huge way, and you know this for the prizing. So for anyone who is looking for a Shimano reel, whether it be a Noski, a Miraval, or possibly a Vanford, you're going to want to pay close attention as we move forward to the August 1st date. Some incredible prizes. Also, we have the Next Save combo that we're going to be giving out every week that the Fish Off is running. We have a kids prize that is I love giving the kids prizes away. This is a new prize that Mike and the crew came up with. It's a foot long. So any fish that's over 12 inches or over, gets entered into a different draw. There's the hero shot that everybody's familiar with when it's posted on Facebook. And then, of course, my favorite, Show My Shimano. And I want to thank Shimano in a huge, huge way for stepping up and making some incredible prizes available for this year's Fish Off. So if you are interested in getting signed up, please just go over to Anglers Atlas. And I'm trying to, it's right here, anglersatlas.ca. Hook up there and make sure you get yourself signed up. And there's going to be some great prizes that are going to be made available. And all you have to do is catch one fish. Well, you don't even have to catch a fish for the early bird prize. You just have to sign up. But if you catch one fish, it enters you into a draw for that week. And as I said, there's Next Save combos. There's all kinds of wonderful stuff. So as I said, the weekly combo is a prize that we give out each week, and it is a beautiful Next Save combo. We have the kids prizes, as I mentioned, the foot long, which is a new prize that Mike came up with this year. Any fish that is entered over 12 inches is going to be a different prize. We have the largest fish prize. Basically, you're getting a gist of what it is, but at the end of it all, it is beautiful Shimano reels that are going to be available, and they're up for grabs. And as I said, I can't thank the folks at Shimano enough. They stepped up in a huge, huge way this year. And we're going to be able to turn it all over to the community. That's the best part. Also, retreats, Horde Lake Lodge, 7th Annual CFN Retreat, August 10th to the 16th. There are only 2 spots available. Two spots. That's it. The place is booked. The camp is booked almost. We have 2 spots available. So make sure you get a hold of Warren or Doris. That's all the information you need to get a hold of them. And we're looking forward to a full house this year up at Horwood Lake Lodge. It's going to be a great, great time. Also, it wouldn't be a typical Monday if we did not mention our other retreat, which is at Camp McIntosh. And this one, there is still room available. Really looking forward to everybody who can make it up there. It's always a grand old time. And I will say this, there is no better time to take a McIntosh minute than right now.
And there's a place that I've dreamed of, where I can free my mind. I hear the sounds of the season and lose all sense of time. Feels like we're in a dream, you know what I mean.
So if you're interested, make sure you reach out to Andre and Tracy. That's all the information you need there. There is still room available. So get yourself booked up, and we'd love to see you there. It is going to be a fantastic time, as always. Speaking of a fantastic time, we got Jim coming up right after a word from his intro.
When he was born, he tried to reel in the umbilical cord. Bass named him as their personal best. His power pole came with a stripper. Forward-facing sonar uses him to find fish. Chuck Norris is his co-angler. He is the most interesting fisherman in the world. Stay fishing, my friends.
Yes, he is. He is the most interesting angler in the world, at least that I know.
Yo.
How you doing today, Jim?
I'm alive. I just watched this really cool thing. You know the band Limp Bizkit?
Yeah.
They brought they did a concert last night in the States somewhere, and they brought a little girl on the stage,
Okay.
and she banged out one of the songs word for word, step for step. Like, go find it on YouTube.
No way.
It's stupid.
Wow.
You know, you see these cowboys, they bring guys up and they sing the song and play the guitar. This kid just, Limp Bizkit's a show and a half. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this kid had better moves than anybody in the band. It was scary.
Wow.
Scary. And at the end, when they're done, after dropping all the F-bombs in that they do and everything and all that stuff, he says, "Come on, let's go find your parents." He puts his arm around.
Wow.
I just burst out laughing. But it was
And roughly how old, Jim? Like how old would she be roughly?
12,
Teenager? Oh, that young. Oh, wow.
14, 13.
Wow.
It was pretty cool, though. It was
Incredible stuff. Well, I know you've been busy this weekend. You got a couple things that I'm sure you're going to probably want to show us, but most importantly, of course, the paper's almost together. Good news.
Yep, almost. If Tammy knew I was doing this, I'd be sleeping with Horace in the boathouse tonight.
Uh-oh.
Horace is the spider this year because I haven't been down there as much. Horace is the spider that has built, when you go inside the door, they build those big funnel net webs, and it's circle into a hole. This spider is the size of a toonie.
Oh boy!
I had not. I thought I saw some big ones out here.
Oh boy!
I'm out. I'll be going to the Holiday Inn room 222.
Okay, well, yeah, put down whatever the heck that is. Let's not get Tammy too upset. But oh wow, incredible! What a beautiful front cover.
Lots of things. That's Ryan Gregory, the guy that runs the big charter deal out of Yellowknife. It's the lad I was talking to you about.
Yes. Yep.
He used to run the counter at Gagnon's, and he went up there to work for the ministry, and he's been there for, I don't know, it's got to be 10 years now. And
Wow.
he TV show there, Fish in the North. And now he's just venturing out on his own. He's doing camps. He's doing things where they take you out about 75 clicks. You fish for 3 or 4 days. And at the end of it, if you're really frisky and the weather's right and everything, you get a kayak or a canoe and you paddle back to Yellowknife that day.
Whoa.
Obviously you've got to be an experienced paddler and everything.
Yeah.
But I guess they bring you over to the north side of the lake and you paddle home on that side,
I'd be interested to know, Jim, with everything that's going on, and some of those resorts up that far up north really rely heavily on American clientele. I'd be interested to know, and I'd hate to hear that they're not doing well, but it's got to be a bit of a struggle this year, no?
Yeah, I haven't heard too much from too many guys. I know that most of his clientele has, I believe anyway, I haven't talked to him about that specific thing recently, but
Right.
I know he started off, it was a lot of guys from Alberta and Saskatchewan and places like that, because obviously it's a quick jaunt up, it's easier to get to,
Right.
the access. But, they've got those in canoes up there, and they're just really cool fish. Really, really cool fish. So he's got, they're not easy to catch apparently either. But you can go a couple of days and not get one, even
right?
where they are and whatever.
Wow.
And they have a way of getting off apparently once they get on.
What, those fish aren't getting smart now, are they, Jim? Come on.
Settle down.
Yeah.
Want to see Canada Day?
Yeah. Well, we see you still have your wit with you, which we will make sure that we respect.
I tell you, by the end of last week, there to get into the weekend, it had faded. I put like 7-8 tanks of gas in the truck last week.
Well, you have been busy, and there is a lot that you have been doing. One of which is the promotion of the Ontario's Family Fishing Week, and of course, we love the whole concept of this. Anything that gets families out fishing is great. But I will say this: I didn't get a chance to upload it. But you did a video, and it's on your timeline, and I believe it was with CHCH Ottawa?
CTV
Ottawa. absolutely killed that interview. Definitely a worth it for others to go back and look at it. Jim was at his best, I will say.
Yeah, that's the picture from the cover shot with it.
Yeah.
So it'll be easy to find. I'm looking as good as ever. So good. Look at this.
Good stuff, buddy. No, it was awesome. The interview was impeccable, and you could see the joy you still have for getting folks and feeling that folks are getting out fishing because of some of the word that you share with us. So that's awesome stuff.
I got to show you when I was into Ganyons last week on Friday. In the morning, first thing I did a bunch of things. I had to meet Chong at Pro J's, and we traded off some stuff. I picked some stuff up for him to get the tight lines and a whole bunch of stuff I was just doing. And I'm sitting in Ganyons, and I feel somebody behind me threatening to get me in a rear naked choke, and this guy was behind me.
I can't make. Sorry, is that Derek? Is that
No, it's Rocky Crawford.
Oh, is that Rocky? Right on.
Yeah, he was down from Halliburton there, and hadn't seen him in. I don't think I've seen Rocky in person like 4 years.
Wow.
Before COVID. So yeah, we spent quite a time there. We had a good chat with Justin, and he broke his.
How many years did you competitively fish together, Jim?
Maybe 5, 6.
5, 6 years. Wow.
But we won the time we fished together. We won 4 Canadian championships. We probably won over $400,000, and that was in Canada.
That's amazing.
It was it was so funny too when we started to fish together. The first couple of tournaments, we floundered,
Wow.
because we were so much alike.
Okay.
And then I got onto this crankbait thing, and it just blew the whole thing wide open. Just blew it wide open. Yeah.
Interesting stuff. Wow. Well, as a tournament angler, and obviously, we have discussed at great length the forward-facing sonar conundrum. Those who love it, love it. Those who don't have no problem stating that. And I will have to say I'm somewhere in the middle. I see both sides, see both arguments, but it's like anything else when it comes to technology. I don't think it's gone too far. I just think it's taking certain anglers too far.
Taking a different direction is what it is. It's changing the way things are done. And people, especially once they're used to doing something one way, I think we're creatures of habit. We don't like to change.
Yeah.
Especially when you get older, you don't like to change. And I see that happening in my life in several things, and it's, I remember when the first person showed up with a 200 horsepower motor. It was blasphemy. It was like the end of the world.
Wow.
Does he really need that? And by the time I finished tournament fishing, everybody had a 200.
Yeah.
The odd guy had 250s, and now they're out there with 300s, and I saw guys with 350s last year.
And it's funny because Brad and I had this conversation. We were talking about it. I would have to say, and I think it's actually stated in some places that one of the most largest technological advancements that we have is the boat, and the outboard is been designated as that tool that evolved and created a possibility that we never thought possible back when we were running a 6 and an 8 and whatever. But now that you have the 2s and the 3s and the 400s, that's going to be the next question. When is enough? And
they'll always make it bigger. They got to sell more. They can't sell more of the same thing. They got to make something different. Yeah. And I get that. Even if I have a little. I wouldn't say. Yeah, maybe I could use the word. I have a little burr about it, but it's like this big.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's that thing just about it being different in the sport that I grew up in. I mean, I started off using flashers, and back to the old story with the graphs with the 8-inch pixels.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I show that. I drew a picture of that one night sitting with the two Joeys at I forget where it was. It was in a lobby of a hotel, and I drew that. And I said, I looked at him. I said, Joey, do you know what that is? He goes, I don't know, a bunch of boxes. And I said, no. I said, that's a fish sitting on the bottom. Here's a fish that's 20 feet up. Here's the surface. And the two of them are looking at it, each other like he's lost it. And and he doesn't drink anymore. You know what I mean? It was so funny. And, when we got it all, like I explained it all to them, it was just a complete different thing. So no, it's all good. It's all good.
That is hilarious, very hilarious. Well, with that, in mind, and of course with the new issue just about to be released, our good buddy Brad took a page, I think it was a full page ad about this new product that he has designed. And it all basically stems from the needs and wishes of anglers when it comes to forward-facing sonar, and something that Brad has been able to devise through much of his research, and he's had quite a few great sticks. I shouldn't say good sticks, great sticks using it so far, the prototypes. But the whole emphasis is around this disco ball. And if you could tell, there's so many flat sides to this presentation. And the reason for that is it shows up better on a forward-facing sonar finder. How much better? I won't make claims, but all I can say is it is.
I know that they do because, years ago when we started fishing with teeny little jigs for panfish, and Dave Gens, I forget the name of the one now that Lindy came out with when he was with Lindy. And it was this little weeny jig. And they changed the shape of the jig so where the hook came out the top was flat and it was round on the bottom. And so when it was down below you in the water, the flasher picked up on the flat surface because the jig was only it was like 1/8 of an inch long. The flat piece, that's not much space for a flasher to pick up on. But if you put the two down and you lifted them up in water, one was a fair size red mark and one was like a flicker. So you knew the difference, and this is the same thing. It's the same approach.
Well, again, I'm learning as I go along, and I thought there was some element of heat that was a part of forward-facing sonar, and it's not. It's strictly sound. I'm sure as technology continues to advance, it will encompass a whole variety of aspects to it. But for right now, it is sound, and there is no better way to basically reflect that sound than with a flat surface. So the concept of this is to have as many flat surfaces as possible. And this was the initial prototype. Now it is, as you can see, it has evolved into jigs, as well as pencil style weights for drop shotting, and also, a Ned swim jig. There's a whole bunch of them. And I'm sure others will come as the advancement of his molds and work goes. But for right now, after we made that announcement and basically exposed folks to that product, there's a buzz. And talking to Jay before we went live, there's a product that's very similar on the market that is gaining the same kind of buzz and is very similar to this, although I don't believe it's being used in the same manner. But the cool thing is this is made here in Canada. And for those who are looking for something that is on this side of the border, on this side of the pond, and in your own backyard, just head on over to Pow Castings and have a look. It's worth it. Trust me. If you have your forward-facing sonar, you're going to love this.
You'll know it right away. I'll tell you.
100%. Jim, some of the articles that are in that magazine, obviously, we want to keep.
Well, we got our good buddy Mr. Chong is talking about chatterbaits. I was talking to Dave about that. We got him doing a bunch of stuff on chatterbaits.
Cool.
In here.
Yeah. And he knows a thing or two about chatterbaits, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, he introduced me to them. I had them and everything, and I wasn't using them a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then we spent a couple of days out, and I saw him fishing with chatterbaits like a lot, eh? And I've got some interesting stuff here. As you know, we've got Liam now riding with Gord, and it's going to swing right over to Liam. Yeah. So he's got some really, really cool stuff to see here, which I haven't read that yet. That I'm looking forward to it. And I can go through it here. He's got all kinds of stuff in here. Oh, geez, it's a long article. I didn't realize it was that long. I think it was like 2,200 words or something. Yeah. Come on. Get out there.
And this will be available this week, Jim?
No, it'll be the end. Maybe by the weekend. Yeah, there's the ad right there.
There's the ad. Perfect.
it'll show up perfect. But there's all these through here. We've got our good buddy Gussie in here talking about a
Sweet.
bunch of stuff. He's in there. There's just a myriad of it. Got my buddy here.
There he is, the one and only. Wow.
He's the
Still
boss.
has a smile, eh? Those big walleye. He still has a smile for those big walleye. That's awesome.
And he's getting up there now too, boy.
Yeah.
But we got a thing here that been done by Ryan there that we were talking about Great
Cool.
Slave Lake. So
Yeah.
that would be really interesting. She's gonna know I was here because I got the
Oh
page.
boy.
So watch the news in the morning, or you might see me on the news getting a beat. Yeah,
Well,
we
we'll
got
make sure to
some
put in a
tips
good
in
word
there.
for you, Jim.
I got Dr. Cook did a thing for us too. Again, once again,
Sweet.
Stephen Cook.
Sweet.
He did a thing for us in here.
Was it
Yeah.
about the bass? About the what the season should look like for bass this year? Is that
No, it was about some other stuff. I think he touches on that. I got Mr. Brosdahl talking about panfish with us.
B dot?
He's a character and a half, and then there's a few more things in here. I went through a few. These are all we got. Target walleye, and we got Daniel Notarani.
Yes.
He's in here, fly fishing stuff again. I got Tim Allard in here.
And it's fun. Daniel, if you don't know him, I mean, you never really take anybody at their first look or first glimpse, but man, does he know an awful lot about fly fishing.
Oh, that's his deal.
Oof.
That's his deal. There's no doubt about it. Something else there when I went last week when I went up to one of my granddaughter's graduations there, Tammy went over to it and I told her, I said, I'm not walking through a church and a school and going through an hour and a half long church service because it's a Catholic school before they do the graduation and everything.
Yeah.
That's not my game, the way I feel right now about walking and everything. And I went over to visit with Mark LaBelle at Weapons of Mass Destruction.
Yeah.
And that bugger lives across the street from an ice cream place.
Oh no.
And I didn't go.
You didn't. Good for you. Wow.
Yeah. When you look at that view we always post to the river in the morning with the fog and everything.
Yep.
If you didn't trim the photos, you'd see the big ice cream stand right there. Just giant. There must have been 75 people standing and sitting there eating ice cream with them. And it was like 90 degrees. I think it was 93 up there in the truck. And I'm not when the truck was sitting, when it was running, you know what I mean? It was like legit temperature. Tammy came out of there. She was walking sideways there. Darcy had to hold her up. She was wiggling all over the place. I thought she was going for the count because she overdoes it.
Oh boy.
So, but it's what it is. She enjoyed herself. Tomorrow we got 4 of the grandkids coming over. Oh, sorry, 3. 3 of them coming over, and we'll watch we can sit and watch the fireworks in Sealy's Bay right off the balcony out back there.
Who sets them off? Does the Legion set them off?
Fire department.
Fire department. Nice. Right
They
on.
do it. They make all they make all the boats leave the docks there. You're not allowed to have your boat moored there. It's from like 7 till 11 or something.
Makes sense.
And they actually launch it all from the dock on the other side of my boathouse there where the park is. They actually do it from that park.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, and they shoot them out right up over so they come down in the water. Or they set the town dock on fire like they did once or whatever. Shoot it out over the water. Yeah, it's all good.
Now, Jim, I know you talk to a lot of anglers, and I'm interested because we're now almost in July. We're just hours away. I can't believe first and foremost how fast this summer is already starting to fly by. But what are some of the anglers saying? Is it typical in terms of where they're finding fish, or is it a really different year for them?
I've heard. I talked to several guys after the bait fuel in Cooney this weekend, and man, like absolute conflict from the things I was told.
Really?
Yeah, like the exact opposite. Say, well, you're out the back here. I haven't caught a fish out the back yet.
Well, you got that. You still have that scum.
It's not going away. It's only getting thicker. It usually shows up about first week, 10 days into July. but there's still patches and holes, and you can work around. You spend an hour down there, you're going to catch two or three. But opening day, I usually catch 6 or 8 fish.
Mhm.
And I didn't get a bite this year. I never set the hook.
Wow.
So it wasn't that I could come up and say, geez, I got beat because I'm getting old and slow or whatever, there was none. It was just, and I mean, I did everything I knew how to do. And the only thing you could do was punch. That was the only thing you could do. The mat was so thick, like, last year, late in July, beginning of August, it got really thick. You'd slide a frog across it. That's how I found them last year. I'd reel the frog across the top, just not even trying to catch them. And I'd see the mat move. I'd throw the 1.5 ounce tungsten weight out, they'd go down through, and you catch them because they're ready to go. They want to eat. They just chased the frog, but they hit the mat. They couldn't go through it.
Interesting. I've never actually officially heard it used, or at least the term search bait when it comes to pitching a frog. But Jim just shared a great tip there for all those who are looking for fish that are under mats. Throw a frog first.
Well, when I used to practice years ago, if I was going to check out pads, I would reel the frog across the top as fast as I could. Or as Rocky saw me doing one day, and it was so funny. We came to this patch of pads that we always caught fish in, and every time we checked it out, it was so far out of the way up in Midland, and there was nothing to bring you there. I saw it one day. I'm driving by, and I looked in this little cove, and I thought, I wonder. And I went in, I'm looking on the electronics, and it came out of like 60 feet of water. And it went up, all of a sudden it was like 18.8. And it went 8 feet right to the back of this little bay. And I mean, you could have cast from either side of the bay. Met in the middle. That's how small it was. And I went to the back, and it had a little bend in the back. And right in the back corner, there was a patch of pads about, I don't know, the size of the office here.
Yeah.
Little patch of pads like that. And I thought, I wonder if there could be any stupid fish back here, because there's nothing to lead them in. It's just that flat, nothing ground, 8 feet deep. Right? So I throw a jig into it, and the whole pad bed just started to jostle. It was full. And we got a couple of really good catches over the year out of there. But if you caught them early in the season, you didn't get them later, because they didn't replenish. There was nothing to make fish want to go there. There was obviously lots of food for them to live there.
Yeah.
But they were so far removed from deep water that they didn't get back there. So one year, Rocky and I practiced it together, and I had a plan. And we get out there, and he gets up the front of the boat, and I said, whoa, Tiger, settle down there. Put the rod down. He looks at me, that big sheepish grin that he gets, puts it down like this, eh? And I go in the rod locker, and I take out, I've got a basket of frogs, about 15 frogs. And I take frogs, and I start pitching them in the pads, and the whole thing just starts. They came from every direction. We went there in the morning. We got they weren't big. We got like 19 pounds for 6 fish. So they're all 3.5 pounders, But I mean, it was guaranteed fish. You just went there, boom, boom, boom. You had it in 20 minutes, you were gone. And then you'd always go back on the second morning, because it was a bit out of the way. It was like probably a half-hour round trip out of the way. And we went back. We'd always go back the second morning and get 1, sometimes 2, but they'd usually be bigger.
Okay.
There was something about it, eh? And but it was so cool. But little things like that, eh?
Jeez, man. Yeah. I'm just half the time I'm just stunned that you remember this stuff. Never mind that you did it, but that you actually remember it.
You hear some of the things these guys in the States do. Like, they got some funky things too, eh?
Absolutely. Bill's asking about water temps. I have heard that they are basically on par. We heard that spike up on Nipissing that George shared with us, that was like 70 degrees just before Easter, I think it was. But I think for the most part, it's right on par. Have you heard?
The guy told me the other day, he came in here and he was talking to me. In fact, I was in the laneway here, and he stopped after he took the boat out. We had a chat for a few minutes, and I said to him, "What's the temperature out there?" And he said, "Oh," he says, "just at the other side of the dock, it was 71 on the surface. That was about a week ago. Normally by now here it's a little higher than that."
Yeah. Okay.
It's a little bit higher. So I mean, we didn't have any heat till recently, really.
Right. It's so
true. Not sustained heat, because we had a couple of days here where it went up to like close to, it was up 30. But then there was days after where the highs were like 10 and 14, and it was going down 6 at night.
Yeah.
And windy, cold fronts, you know, so it blows it. It just cools it right off again. Eh?
Well, geez, what was it? 2 weekends ago, 2 Saturdays ago? I thought it was going to snow. It was so freaking cold. It was
Well,
ridiculous.
some places it did. I saw a thing yesterday or the day before with Jay Siemens.
Yep,
He was up in the Arctic ice fishing.
I saw that.
Did you see that?
Saw that. Yep. Last day he said of safe ice.
Latest he'd ever ice fished in his life by like a month or something.
Who would have thought you'd be ice fishing in July? But again, for those who live up north, they know. Like this is all old hat.
Oh yeah, it just takes that long to melt. I mean, I noticed the other day with the temperature at Baker Lake, the high was +6. You know, we're probably still going down to minuses at night.
Unreal.
Yeah, so it's
Good for Shane. You found the last 2 walleye, as George has said, in Rice Lake. But George also mentioned that the walleye are just being slayed right now up on Lake Nipissing. It's
I've heard.
the highest they've seen in the last 40 years, the catch rates. Holy crap.
Well, I'll tell you, there's a lot of walleyes in Rice Lake too.
Yes, there are.
I know some guys that have been out there in the last couple of weeks, and they forgot about the bass season to fish for walleyes. That's how wild it's been.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. George is also
Nice fish, though.
sharing some tips and techniques to use if you are up in the Sudbury area, buzz baits, and of course the wonderful frog imitation baits that you just spoke about. They're on fire right now for bass, and this is what I have been told is right now the bass are shallow. They were last week when we were at.
Oh yeah, they haven't really got cleaned out yet, eh?
They haven't. No, they're still fairly shallow, but I would imagine it's going to start to teeter very soon, and they'll start taking up basically anywhere is deeper and colder water in the coming weeks and days, I would imagine. But yeah, different year from a weather perspective, but not unique and certainly not something we haven't seen
Them
before.
largemouth, they don't. Everybody thinks they all look for cold water. They don't look for cold water. They're looking for warm water. I mean, when I catch them out here in the middle of August underneath the mats out here, the water's 85, 87 degrees.
True enough.
And they hit that bait, they're just their metabolism's just buzzing, eh? And that's when they have to eat more.
Yeah.
They're cold blooded, eh? So the more they want to move, they have to eat. It's what it is.
Yeah. And
Keep the machine running.
to your
I
point,
wish I was cold blooded.
to your point, last year when we were up at Horwood, I was surprised to still see the smallmouth as shallow as they were. So it just proves your point. With bass, they don't necessarily like that colder water. They might just go there because that's where the bait is. But for the most part, they love their shallow, warm water.
Well, it's like in St. Lawrence here. I mean, they catch a lot of those big smallmouths here in the end of August. They're up in 4 feet of water,
Yeah.
Well, the St. Lawrence is pretty cool.
Right now it is. Yeah.
Well, it always is. It never really gets, stinking hot because you're constantly pouring that water into the river out of the bottom of the lake. Eh?
No kidding.
So,
Incredible. The Great Lakes
it's
are
high too, eh? The St. Lawrence is high.
yes, and a lot of cases. That's what I've been seeing is a lot of high
Right at
water.
the bottom of the dock.
And the rain that we're having right now, Jim, like is the water still up in Sealy's?
Oh, it's right at the top of the seawall. Yeah,
Wow. Incredible.
it's exactly where it was when you were here.
Really? It hasn't moved.
No, we've had some pretty good rain here. We've had some pretty good rain here too. Like we had a storm there last week, last Saturday night, and I mean, it was like offside. And then, what day did we go to Ottawa? I had to bring Tammy. What the hell? What were we doing?
Was it Thursday?
It was when we went up to Petawawa.
Yeah.
Yes, when we were getting back here, and I'm looking at the radar, and I said to her, "Wow, it looks like we really got rain at the house." It was purple over top of the house.
Oh, wow.
Like when you expanded it to see the name Sealy's Bay, it was purple surrounded by dark red. So you knew it was raining. And when we got here, the streets and that were dried up, but up at the Legion and all around town, the puddles were just filled right to the top. And I looked at the little pipe that drains the sewer here into the bay here, the stormwater, and the water was still just gushing out.
Incredible.
Yet it was beautiful and sunny and 90 degrees,
Yeah. Wow.
Pounded down. So you get those quick influxes of water.
And there's more coming, Jim. I will tell you right
Yeah,
now.
I was looking at it there. The whole thing's just covered in storms.
We just had a heck of a downpour out here about 20 minutes ago, so it's heading your way, and it's great for the lawn. It's great for the lakes, and hopefully it's good for the fish. We need it.
Fish boom ba, let's go.
There's a bit of a bet going on here from George, who is willing to put up metanium that Rice Lake walleye are not as abundant as you think. I will leave that there.
I see the pictures, George. If you know what you're doing, you know what you're doing.
Absolutely. Jim, what do you got going on tomorrow and the rest of the week?
Well, tomorrow I got the grandkids here, and then we'll be finishing up the paper's almost finished. Just a couple of things to be done. So we'll try to get that out. Then I have a little bit of time, and it's time to start painting jig heads. I'm going to paint a lot more this summer. I've got about 3,000 all carted up in the garage to paint, so I'll get my button gear on that. Won't worry about getting the eyes on them till you can't go out in the fall.
Well, I think more importantly, get some rest tomorrow, dude. I know.
Yeah, I'm gonna get up tomorrow morning. I might go down and fish off the dock in the St. Lawrence for a few casts there.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really pretty down there in the morning. You know, like at 5 o'clock.
You share those pics all the time, dude. I love it.
Yeah, I love it. Keeps my head screwed on straight. Trust me, it needs it lately.
Whatever it takes, dude.
Yeah.
Well, listen, you have yourself a great Canada Day.
Everybody be safe out there. Happy birthday to us. Happy birthday to us.
Absolutely, buddy. You get some rest, and we will see you shortly. And if not, we will see you next Monday for sure. Yeah, baby. I love it.
Hey, here's the shameless commercial part of the show.
Shameless plug?
Shameless plug.
No shame in that at all.
Or we could. I'm just about to put a line on this. Decided to put another one together.
Sweet.
Put some line on that. I've never had an SLX that was heavy.
It's thick, eh?
I'm gonna put a jig. It's a 7.5, I think, or 7.4. 7.5, yeah. So I'm gonna put some. I'm gonna make it for drop shotting actually.
Sweet.
With Brad's funky little sinker there in the weeds.
Nice.
Have it ready to go when my boat eventually gets here. Well, the boat's here. It's got to be rigged. So.
Oh, I can't speak on behalf of Uptown Problems, but I do feel your pain, buddy.
Enjoy Canada Day, everybody, and be safe out there.
Absolutely. All the best, my friend.
Be good, buddy.
We have Jay Barnucz coming up right after a word from his sponsor.
The fear of failure is failure itself. The world of science rewards the ones who are willing to try and fail. Because without the courage to embrace failure, ideas remain ideas. But with that courage to fail and to learn, ideas can change the world.
There he is, the one and only Jay Barnucz.
What is happening, man?
Well, I see that you don't have a hotel room as your backdrop, so
yeah.
You're not on the road anymore.
I'm off duty this week. I actually took a week's vacation, which I try to do right around bass opener. So I'm doing a staycation this week.
Have you got some rest? Have you tuned out and got back to a life that is somewhat normal, not on the road?
No, I've been busier than ever. I need to go back to work to get my vacation, to my rest. So
it's so funny you say that, dude. It is so funny you say that. It is so true sometimes. As busy as I can imagine you are, likewise. And yeah, sometimes you go to work to escape.
Yeah, like work's been busy. Like it's kind of cool actually. I got a bit of news on that front. So at my job, I've been doing basically the same job for 20 years, which is working with fish diversity, right? So working with all the different species, endangered species, but having built a 20-year knowledge of working with, dude, I can identify any freshwater fish in Canada. That's what I've been doing, and had a slight shift at work, and now I'm still in the same group. I'm still working with fish, but part-time. My full-time job now is I am working with the Federal Endangered Mussels Program. So I am learning all about freshwater mussels. And there's 40 species in Ontario, and most of them are endangered or at some kind of risk. And so I'm out helping with. I'm learning. I'm basically. You ever just have a new job where everything's new? Like it's like working in a whole new. Let's say you were doing in a factory and you were like the HVAC guy. Now I'm learning how to do electrical, and I've never done it before. So it's cool. It's really cool. I've been doing learning how to do surveys for them, traveling around Southern Ontario, doing work in all kinds of different places, the same rivers that I know. And that's part of my, my good fit is that I know the geography, I know the access, I know where to find certain things. And now I'm working with mussels, and yeah, it's been really cool. And if anyone follows me on Instagram, the Canadian mussel researcher, Dr. Todd Morris, also has a really cool Instagram account where he posts a lot of updates. And honestly, it's really, really interesting because most mussels require fish as a host. So but they're not parasitic, like in a bad way. Like mussels can't move, right? Because they're shells, they're shellfish. And so for them to breed, they need to use fish as hosts. And there's I'll share in the next few weeks and months some cool videos of different lures that they've evolved. Like they actually make their own lures to attract fish to help spread their offspring in river systems. And mussels filter every day. They can filter up to 40 liters of our water, keeping our waterways clear. It's really amazing. And then native mussels actually had some serious issues with the introduction of zebra mussels, right, back in the 80s and 90s. And so we're studying the recovery of those animals since that time. I'm doing some work to reintroduce native mussels to different areas. And so a big shout out to Dr. Morris, Todd Morris, and Kelly McNichols O'Rourke is basically for mussels is me. So I'm like this fish ID guy and in the federal department, and she is the mussel person, kind of in the same role. And so I'm working closely with Kelly, and I've been colleagues with Todd and Kelly for decades. Like we work in the same lab, we share the same space, but they are literally on one side of the room and I'm on the other, and we've always been friends. And so now I'm getting to do some really cool stuff in a whole new realm. And honestly, I love it. It's a new challenge. I got 10 years left in the department if things go well, and I'll probably spend the last decade learning all new stuff, but still working with fish like, on a part-time basis. So it's very cool, very, very cool.
I do have to ask too, when it comes to freshwater mussels. Somebody asked me a little while back, how do you cook them? How do you prepare freshwater mussels?
I wouldn't recommend eating them, and I'm going to tell you why. So they are so good at filtering water. They also filter a lot of waste and byproducts out of our waterways. And because of that, let's think about Southern Ontario. Most of our waterways, as much as, we do eat the fish out of them, fish are short-lived. Okay. Mussels can live for decades. And so there's a bioaccumulation issue in mussels, right? So if we think about a smallmouth bass that you might consume, they might live, let's say a 12-inch or 14-inch smallmouth, they're probably going to live, anywhere from 5 to 10 years old, depending on the system. A small mussel could be anywhere from 10 to 20 years old. An edible one of size would probably be, there's records of mussels being upwards of 80, 90 years old in Southern Ontario. So these things have been around for a long time. In fact, I'll share a story about mussels. It's kind of interesting. Prior to the invention of plastics, right, Scott, you have at home, you got shirts with buttons on them.
Yep.
The mussels were the source of buttons for decades. And there was an entire industry dedicated to buttons where they would mine mussels. And there's some cool videos I've seen of mussel collecting in Ontario, in like Caledonia and the Grand River and other places. And These mussels were all shelled, and the shells were then shipped to factories, and they punched out buttons, and that actually caused a major decline of mussels, because you can imagine as humans on the earth became more populated, especially in North America, they needed a source for buttons for clothing, because we didn't have Velcro, we didn't have things, we didn't have plastic. And so mussels were the source of buttons, and that caused their decline decades ago. And you're probably looking at the last, we probably didn't have plastic buttons for probably over the last century at best.
Jeez.
So for many, many decades before that, the button industry was only available because of mussels. So
Jay,
yeah.
My Lord, man. As I said, these Mondays are just amazing to me sometimes. Some of the information that is shared, I never knew that. I had no idea. Is that not interesting?
Yeah, it's really cool. And I love the fact that I'm getting to go back to like all these river systems that it's funny. So I went out with Kelly last week. We were up in the North London area, and we worked on a site in the heat, dude. It was so hot in waders. Oh God, Scotty. Like you don't need to diet and lose weight when you're working in 38-degree humidex, 40-degree humidex in waders. Now we had some shade at our job sites, and you know when it's that hot out, we tend to work like there's a crew of 5 of us. I'm working with 3 great ladies. Erin is our new student. She's brand new like me. And then Laura and Emma have both worked in the mussel research program before. And Emma's actually is a certified diver with the federal government. So she's done diving for these animals. And so I'm just learning all these cool stories about mussels, and they're teaching me how to identify them. And now I can walk down a river and I can just start telling you, here's the different mussels. And they're so camouflaged, like you wouldn't even know they're there. And when Kelly and I went out, we were scouting sites for work later in the month. And I put all these sites in Google Maps that she sent me, and we're driving there. And she's like, I go, I've already been here. She's like, what? How do you know that? I go, oh, this is where I fish smallmouth on the Thames. And then this is where I caught greater red horse for the CFN fish off. Like these are all places that I've been to, these bridges, these crossings that I have been to countless times, but never for this type of research. Right. So yeah, very, very cool.
And roughly, Jay, how many species of freshwater mussel are there?
So there's only about 40 species in Ontario, and most of them are endangered. Yeah, 40. There's 40. So and there's some that are sort of, most of them are river dwelling or lake or stream dwelling, but there are some lake dwelling. There's some that live in wetlands like eastern pond mussel. And so I'll be doing research over the next few years, probably in wetlands and marshes, and even there's some work that needs to be done in Lake St. Clair and the Niagara River and some of these big water areas. So I'll get to use a lot of my big water experience. Yeah, it's a great collaboration of kind of in the making. It's really cool.
And what attributes to their endangerment? Is it the zebra mussels themselves?
Yeah, zebra mussels played a part for some species. In some of our river systems, just habitat destruction, right? So every time there's a pipeline crossing or a bridge crossing that goes in that doesn't go in well, just like it damages fish habitat, it damages mussel habitat. They share the same areas. In fact, the most diverse systems in the Southwest, where we see the most fish diversity, also have the most mussel diversity too. So it's pretty impressive. It's very, very cool stuff. It's I know it's funny when I heard about this and I talked to the family about it, Trevor was I wasn't sure what he'd say, and he was like, "That's really cool, Dad," because we see mussels all the time when we're out fishing, and just seeing it's like how we look at our ecosystem from a different angle, right? So yeah, it's kind of an opportunity I wasn't expecting, and I think some people thought I wouldn't want to do it, but I for the first time in 30 years doing this job, I'm learning something totally new, which I don't know, man. Like when you do the same thing for so long, you get kind of bored with it, and I'm loving it. So I'm a student again. I'm literally a summer student all over again at 50 years old.
Well, I'm fascinated too. I mean, listen, I've seen freshwater mussels, but I never imagined that there'd be 40 different species. And the fact that, a lot of them, if not all of them, are on the endangered list. Is there methods? Obviously you're at the prelim of your research, but are there initiatives or ideas to help bring them back?
Yeah, there are. So there's just like there's fish recovery programs that support species at risk. We also have mussel recovery strategies, and so looking at improving water quality, improving stream turbidity levels, as an example, protecting fish. So because they have this symbiotic relationship with fish, for example, there's some species of mussel that rely exclusively on fish like log perch. So log perch and the snuff box mussel have this great relationship. So if we start to lose log perch, we also lose that mussel. There's actually some mussels out. There's a mussel out there called a salamander mussel, and its only host that we know of is the salamander. So, and they've developed these symbiotic relationships literally over thousands of years, and so it's just amazing. There's a mussel called a wavy rayed lamp mussel that needs smallmouth bass as its host. And so without smallmouth bass, we can't protect the wavy rayed lamp mussel. And without getting into too much detail, because I could do a whole show on this now, but the wavy rayed lamp mussel, when it's in the sediment and it's red, the female is ready. And I saw this actually happen last week in the field. It's so cool. I've seen videos, but not this in person. It has a lure that it puts in the water. It looks like a small rainbow darter, and the mussel moves the lure, like pulses it. It looks like a little fish. And when the smallmouth bass comes up, it grabs the lure thinking it's a fish. And then that mussel literally ejects its larvae onto the smallmouth bass. And the little glaucidia gets stuck in the smallmouth bass's gills. It doesn't hurt the bass. The bass swims off. And as those little larvae mature, they drop off the bass. And that's how the mussel breeds and how it spreads in the river system.
Holy smokes, man.
Yeah.
No wonder you're excited. That's fascinating. I had no idea. Wow.
Yeah. It's, and I see George's comment. George, I won't lie. When you work with good colleagues, you razz each other. And Dr. Morris, Todd Morris, is a good friend of mine. Todd and I started at Fisheries and Oceans together and we've been good friends since. And we make fun of each other. Like, I've made fun of mussels for 20 years about like, oh, we're chasing down mussels, and we know mussels. So, just friendly banter, just, guys on the bench at the ball game, right? Kind of talking a little trash. And, but now working with Todd and his sort of outlook on things and how he does things, it's really cool. And I think it's just a well-timed place. Yeah, Richard, thanks for searching that up. So there's 55 species of mussel across Canada, and there's actually a species of mussel that the group's been working on the last couple of years called a hickory nut, and the only known host of hickory nut is lake sturgeon. So to protect the hickory nut, we must also protect the lake sturgeon. And so by protecting lake sturgeon, improving sturgeon habitat, like, maybe mitigating around dams and things like that, we can protect the hickory nut as well. So, and we actually had crews the last couple of years working on the Ottawa River and working on some of the North Channel rivers, working on hickory nut, where we know there's lots of lake sturgeon activity going on. So, and finding areas where there's hickory nut, and where you find hickory nut, it's also likely that there's lake sturgeon in that area. So you can see from a management side that if we know there's hickory nut mussel, we also know there's lake sturgeon. Because if you go to a river and find hickory nut shells or hickory nut live animals, lake sturgeon have to be there or have been there, because they're the only two that they have that symbiotic host relationship.
Wow. Holy smokes. Take a breath. I do have a question.
Yeah.
Is the symbiotic relationship only on the benefit of the mussel, or do the fish also require the mussel for something as well?
So that's kind of the dirty pool. It's only benefit to the mussel that I'm aware of right now. So, but the mussels have evolved to be like, hey, I got a really cool way to get around without having to get around. I'll use the fish to do it. And I think just from a science standpoint, it's just a very cool part of our ecosystem that I really didn't have much appreciation for until recently. Like I knew of it, but now, you know, sharing conversations with colleagues in that world has really opened my eyes to this whole other area of science that I just haven't really been. I've been exposed to it, but never really had to, you know, sort of digest it. And now I am, and it's very cool. And it, like I said, all these river systems and lake systems where these mussels are, these are all areas I am very familiar with, like access points and canoeing and all these things, both work and recreation. And now I get to go back to these places and basically do more research in these areas where it's kind of like looking at things in a new light. So, and if you love nature and you love diversity, this kind of stuff is just very, very, very interesting.
Wow. I don't even know where to go from here. I did have a question for you from a fish ID standpoint, and I wish I could get a closer video, and I'm going to try and work on it. But I put the camera down. I was doing some shooting on the weekend. I put the camera down, and I looked at some of the footage after I'd picked it up, and I noticed not only a lot of perch and bluegill, but I also noticed a lot of minnows that had a very dark lateral line. They were quite light on their bellies as well as their backs, but they had this distinctive black line. They were no more than 3 inches in length.
Yeah.
Looked very similar to that of a regular shiner, but this dark black line is not something that I have seen on a regular basis.
Where were you?
Just up like northern part of Brampton.
So
would that be a sand shiner?
No, there's very few black lines. There's very few shiners out there with black lines or minnow species. So what river system or what pond system was it? Like just up on
the Credit. It'd be the Credit. On
the Credit. So, and if it's Brampton, so it's probably like more upper Credit than lower Credit. So it probably could be any number. It could be in that system there's going to be creek chub that has a dark line down the side. Could be a blunt-nosed minnow that has a dark line down the side. Richard Dunlap says dace. Dace can have a dark line, but not typically. So there's black-nosed dace, and there's also long-nosed dace in that area. Now there's also red-belly dace, which red-belly dace are commonly what you'll hear of as mud minnows, in Quinny in the wintertime. A lot of those are red-belly dace. They definitely have dark lines down the side. So it could be any one of those. I'm going to guess it might be a red-bellied dace if you saw a distinct black line. There is a group of shiners called black line shiners, like there's a black chin shiner and a black nose shiner, but they're typically lake dwelling, and you're only going to find them in really, really clear water in like areas like Bay of Quinte, backwaters of the St. Lawrence, Long Point Bay, and some of the northern lakes have them, like some of the Rideau lakes and some of the Kawartha lakes. What they love really clear water and lots of lush vegetation. So it's probably not what you saw. So I'm guessing red belly dace is probably what you've seen.
Well, I'll try and get the video together for you and send it off to you. But I was intrigued because it's not a minnow that I've typically seen. Obviously, creek chub is something that you see all the time, and there's different other types of species of minnows that I see too. But this one had a very distinct black line, not something I'm familiar with. So I was looking through, and I did find a shiner, like you said, that did have a dark line, but I don't believe it was what we were discussing. So I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say.
Yeah.
Now, another interesting thing, I noticed this. It was shared on Instagram. I have never seen a crankbait with this style head before. I'll ask you if you have, but this is truly unique in my eyes. So it has the full body. I love the plastic. That's killer bait, I'm assuming. And then all this, look at that. Have you ever seen that before, Jay?
No, I've actually, so it's ironic you show this. There actually was once a bait back in the 90s that Berkeley made that actually looked like a rattle trap. Okay. It had the head of a rattle trap and the rest of the body. So you know, they have that diamond shape, those
Yeah,
rattle
yeah.
traps. So half the body, half the diamond was a hard head with a split ring to tie to. The other half was plastic, and it had that Berkeley power bait infused in it. So this is kind of like that, but this one's much more evolved. It actually, what I'm thinking is, and it actually makes sense to me. It's a weedless crankbait.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you have a bait that can go through vegetation, and then when you set the hook pops out. So a fish grabs it. It's weedless until a fish grabs it, and then that hook pops out. That's really interesting.
Isn't it though? I
Yeah.
couldn't stop looking at it. When I saw the video, I'm like, wow, this is really cool. This is really something.
It looks like a JDM kind of product, to be honest. That's the kind of innovation that we see coming out of Japan all the time. Very interesting.
Very cool. Very, very cool. Not sure exactly how well it works, but if anybody does know, I'd be interested to hear your take. So by all means, throw something in the comments or send me a message, because I'd be interested to see if anybody has those over here. Now, I know you were busy this past weekend. I mean, I'm still fascinated by the mussels, but I do know that you have a lot to share with us in regards to what happened this weekend. So I'll let you take it from there.
Yeah, so I'm gonna share a couple pictures with you if I can. I'm just gonna bring this up here. So we had let's do this one first. This kind of sums up my weekend on my Saturday. So this is everyone here knows Avery.
Yes, sir.
This was a cool day. So this is the annual Big Bass Derby in Long Point, or Turkey Point, Long Point Bay. And the Erie Bass Masters and the Long Point Bay Anglers co-host this event every year on opening day. And opening day down here, it is a holiday. Like, everyone looks forward to it. The place is jammed. I don't even like fishing on the Inner Bay on opening day. It's so busy. Like, it is an absolute zoo. But growing up in Long Point area, like, opening day was the holiday. Like, you woke up early. It usually coincided with Canada Day weekend too, because it's the fourth Saturday. So it usually all just works together. And everyone gets up at like 4 or 5 in the morning, goes out, catches bass. And there was always this derby where you paid $10. And if you have a derby ticket, you have a chance to win $1,000 for biggest smallmouth, $1,000 for biggest largemouth. And this event kind of faded about 10 years ago, and the Erie Bass Masters and the Long Point Bay Anglers picked it up, and we've used it as a fundraiser for the Long Point Bay Anglers Association. So the Turkey Point Marina, McDonald Turkey Point Marina, we're on the stage there, this picture, and they actually set this stage up. It's there most of the summer. They have bands and stuff on it, of course, but the stage was really built a long time ago for bass tournaments. So the stage is set up almost all summer long. And if you're hosting a bass tournament at Turkey Point Marina, they let you use the stage. It's such a cool venue. So we had prizes donated from all local stores, like rods, reels, life jackets. Just an incredible weekend. We have kids categories. And what we do is, when you bring your fish in, you bring your ticket up, you weigh your fish. So we have the Erie Bassmasters scale. We got the big red LED mesh, the big sign, like it's like 4 feet by 3 feet, right? So there's some cool pictures out there floating around. If you go over to the Erie Bassmasters Facebook page, you'll see photos of little kids coming up with their 2-pound largemouth. I weigh it in the scale. The big numbers come up, 2.7 pounds. The crowd claps, and the kids get their name in a raffle, and the adults get clapped too. The biggest largemouth this year was 5.66 pounds.
Wow.
The biggest smallmouth was 5.12 pounds. Just an awesome day. This year, Trevor had to work, so I brought Stephanie in his place, and my niece Kyla helped out, just keeping track of all the tickets and the numbers. The Erie Bassmaster Junior Club came out. They helped run the weigh bags, run the fish. A lot of the fish get released. Now, Scotty, this is a derby, okay? So this is not live release only, But I have some good news to share. I was chatting with John from Long Point Bay Anglers, and we always have the live release boat set up there. And so if people bring fish in alive, which we encourage, we will release them for them. And he has seen such an uptick every year, getting more and more fish that are coming in, not in a cooler. They're coming in alive. Well, we're weighing those fish and getting them back. We're literally changing the scene down in Turkey Point and Long Point. Where, listen, down here people eat bass. That's just a tradition that goes on. And now we're seeing more and more fish getting released back, which is just a very, very cool thing to see. And of course, Avery brought in that big smallmouth. I think it was 4.75 pounds. She got 5th place in the event that day. So it was great. Ryan, her dad, took this picture. So I love the Barnucz are just part of the such a great part of the fishing community. And I'm so proud that, and I have no problem saying this. I'm proud they're part of my community down here in Long Point. And they are such great ambassadors, and it's such a pleasure to see them all the time. I just love hanging out with them. So it's great. Even though I got to see them for a few minutes, it was so worthwhile. So that was Saturday. So Saturday, up at the crack of dawn, down to Turkey Point, getting set up for the event. And then we got back, 5 o'clock on Saturday, exhausted from running around all day. And then we had to pack up and get ready for our first ever Norfolk County Kayak Anglers Tournament. So we've talked about the club on the show. Bass season is now open. So we had our own kayak tournament on Sunday. Jeff Penner came down from Niagara. He's one of our members. He crashed at our house. He just graduated high school. So Heather had a little grad celebration here for him. It's just a lot of great family stuff. And then up at 3:30 in the morning, Trevor, myself, Jeff, Aiden Bender, the Brock family, and a few others, we all headed down to Nanticoke. And so I'm just sharing the standings there. So this is the standings for the event. And we had 9 anglers participate. We only have about 15 members in the club, which is great. Small group. I love it. Erica Brock came out. That's Owen's sister. She just graduated university this week, University of Guelph.
Sweet.
Came out. She caught a fish, 13.5-inch smallmouth. That's great. This is so funny. This is Owen's cousin, Mason. He got 2 fish. Aiden Binder here. This kid, I coached him in ball many years ago. Great little ball player. Kind of didn't talk to him for a long time. Trevor's been friends with him in high school. And just one of those kids who just took up fishing, bought a kayak, and we've been going kayak fishing. He is a great kid. He super helpful, just one of those kids where we go down to the ramp, he helps load and unload. He's very kind. This was his first ever kayak tournament. But listen to this. Until Sunday morning, the biggest smallmouth he's ever caught was like a 6-inch smallmouth out of the Nith River last year with Trevor. 6:15 in the morning, lines in at 6 o'clock. He catches a 19.5-inch smallmouth. I know people that have never caught a smallmouth bass that big, and he caught it on the first cast of the day, for crying out loud. So big shout out to Aiden Binder. And he has a paddle kayak. He's not even a pedal kayak. He's out there with us 2 or 3 kilometers away from the access, just grinding away. The kid, really, really, really proud of Aiden for toughing it. And it was hot. It was a hot day. It was calm water, and he was a champ. Good for Aiden. Jeff's jigs was out. Great to hang out with Jeff all day. Chris Weir did well. Chris is a longtime participant in the OKBT.
Yep.
Really seasoned kayak angler. Great to see Chris out. Chris is probably about our age, Scotty. It's great to see Chris supporting all these young anglers in the group. We had a meetup afterwards for the awards, and Chris just shared such great wisdom and knowledge to the group, and it was just very, very cool to see all the young anglers just listen to Chris and tell stories of OKBT and stuff. I loved it. We all know this guy finished in 4th place. Look at these lengths, man. 90 inches is to me in kayak tournaments, if you can get 90 inches a day, you're killing it. So that's 5 18-inch smallmouth is 90 inches. So think about that.
Incredible, dude. Yeah, it's a meter of fish. That's incredible.
So Trevor's got 93.5 inches. I beat him by a 1/4 inch, man. I sweated it out. I'm like, of all the people, I got to beat my son for sure, because he always kicks my butt. I've only ever beat him. Like we keep track of, we go fish, even for fun, we compete. Like that's just what we do.
Yeah.
And I've only ever beat him once on Erie, once, and I kicked his butt that day. But I won't let him forget it. But he's kicked my butt many times. So to beat him by a 1/4 inch was awesome. This is Sam. Sam is a kayak angler from Cambridge. So if you're a member of a bass club, you can come fish our events because you got your dues paid, right? So it's a BASS club. Sam signed up online, came down. I've never met Sam. Sam knows Jeff Penner. Sam came out. Sam beat me by a 1/4 inch on a technique that I've never used before called a free rig. And that's a whole show we could do on the free rig. It's really getting popular. I've never tried it. I shouldn't say that. I've tinkered with it, but not doing it right. He kicked my butt on a free rig. Great. And he, after the event, he showed us his setup and how he did it with a bait caster. Dude, we're out there with spinning rods, throwing hair jigs and spy baits and finessing. And he's jacking big smallmouth on a free rig, which is cool. But
now,
then,
I have to say, judging by the standings, Jay, he didn't exactly kick your butt. It was only a 1/4 inch difference.
I know, but he's never been out on Erie before fishing shallow smallmouth like that.
Wow.
Listen, almost all these fish that week everyone caught was less than 10 feet, and most of the fish were caught sight fishing. It was just a unique day. Now look at who won. Now, no one is surprised. The champ, Owen Brock, 97.5 inches. That is incredible. That's like a 24 bag pound of smallmouth that he caught. And I actually we messaged John Dean, because John is like the epic keeper of kayak information. And Trevor asked John, he goes, what's the biggest length? Remember, this is 5 bass. What's the biggest length that you can recall for an Ontario bass tournament? And John said in all his years, he only knows of one. It was Mike Moran from Georgian Bay, 97.75 inches. So Owen Brock, like in a little tournament, went out and caught 97.5 inches. Like my best day out there, I think, is 94.25. That's my best day. And that's my best day of smallmouth fishing ever in a kayak. And probably ever in my life, to be honest.
Wow.
And Owen, 97.5 inches of smallmouth. That is just unbelievable. So kudos to Owen.
Wow.
Yeah, just amazing. So it was just a fun day. We really enjoyed ourselves. And I can't say enough. Big thank you to everyone who helped out. So yeah, small event, but just big event for a lot, especially a lot of young anglers. Really, really proud.
And is the Tourney X, is that a different app, Jay? I've never heard.
I'll explain it. So Tourney X is an app that a lot of kayak anglers use. It's you can do it a bunch of different ways, but basically what OKBT and Ontario Kayak Bassmasters do is you use Tourney X. You go in, you create an account. Now, Norfolk County kayak anglers have their own account. And so we put all of our tournaments in there, Scotty. So you want to fish one of our tournaments, you go in, you register for that tournament. If you click on the link, it has like what date the tournament is, when the sign up cutoff is, the start time, the end time, the launch locations. It'll have all that kind of information. The rules are there. We have special identifiers, right? The photos on the board. We'll post the code there. You have to write a special code on the identifier, just like we do in the fish off, right? All the information is there. You click payment. It's done through PayPal. And then basically when you have your app on your phone, it's pretty neat. So we're going to go, I'll show you it right now. It's really slick. So this is right there. So anyways,
Yep.
This is the app. Okay. And what you do is in here is like identifiers. You can submit your photos. You basically yeah, so you take your photos in the app. It stores the photos on your phone, and then you select the photo you want to submit. You type in the length, and the photo has to be like the fish has to be a certain way. It has to have the head right way. You can't be touching the gills. You have to have the identifier visible. There's a whole process to it, and if you get it wrong, even if it's a huge fish, doesn't matter. You get it wrong, it gets disqualified. Like it has to be done a certain. And trust me, everyone's going to get spined trying to hold smallmouth down on a measure. You are going to get spined for sure.
Amen.
So long story short, the app tallies up all the lengths, and then we actually can either judge it ourselves at the end of the day. So we have to go through and verify that all the fish were photographed properly. Big shout out to John Dean. Man, he's just such a great dude. 1 o'clock, I'm out fishing. I get a call from John. He's like, Jay, I'm home from fishing. I'm going to be your judge. And he knows Tourney X like the back of his hand. And he goes, log in, make me the tournament director, make me the judge, and I'll judge your fish for you. So I did. And by the time 3 o'clock hit, all of our fish were judged and tallied. We knew who won. Everything was done. So big shout out to John for stepping in. And and so we're learning all about. So I've used Tourney X for a few years now, but I'm learning about the back end on Tourney X. We're learning how to set up the tournaments, how to share that information.
Yep.
And there's actually Tourney X is a US based website, but it's not just bass. They have Tourney X events for all species. Bass is the main one. And there's literally even the Bassmaster Nationals use Tourney X. Everyone uses Tourney X. It's I shouldn't say everyone, but it's a very, very popular app for tournament kayak fishing. So it's great. I'll give a shout out to Dwayne, the owner of Tourney X, and he keeps his app updated. He makes it so functional to submit pictures. Oh man, it is a very, very cool app. A lot of work went into it. I couldn't even imagine. So Tourney X is what we use, and we love it.
Cool stuff. Holy smokes. Does it end there, Jay, or are we all wrapped up with everything that you did? No, I didn't.
got one more announcement, and this is a big one. So I got a special guest here. Now,
I'm in my work shirt. I just got off work.
Ignore the sunburn. He got shit from mom.
I got blisters on my feet too. It's not good.
He got shit from mom last night. Yeah. These young guys don't know how to use sunscreen. So if Jim was here, he'd be reading them the riot act. So Jim, if you're listening, you make sure you let these young guys know.
I'm pretty sure Jim has already given me crap last year. So.
Good.
Oh, wow. You got the undersides of your feet burnt? Oh, I can't say I've ever done that.
Dude. Like these guys, they kept their PFDs on, but they took their shirts off. So they have the worst tan lines you've ever seen.
I got a line that goes right down my body. I got a picture of it. Scotty is the funniest thing. It hurts like hell, but it is the funniest thing ever.
And dude, I'm out there in my brim hat, my sun shirt, my hoodie, buff, I'm sealed right in. I'm just basically putting some sunscreen on my face and on my hands. And these guys are out there baking in the sun. I think Aiden's got heat stroke. These guys are unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. So, but to be young and dumb, right? So,
well, and I was just going to say, could we run a contest, Trevor, on what what I don't know what you would call it, but basically the color pattern that you are presenting right now?
I look like a Canadian flag. I'm not gonna lie, Scott.
All right, fair enough.
He's got two red shoulders, and he must have. I'm gonna paint the leaf on his chest tomorrow.
Yeah, happy Canada Day weekend, everybody.
Yeah. He's very patriotic, elbows up.
Yeah.
So,
oh wow, and blisters on the bottom of your feet. My Lord, man. Oof.
Now, in his defense, when I was his age, my arms were the color of that hat every Saturday. So we all learned. So
absolutely.
I have a big announcement to make, and I know I've been full of announcements tonight, but this is another big one. So Trevor here competed in the high school the high school championship for Ontario. He's been the runner-up 3 times in that event. So, and if you're on the top 2 teams, you get to go on to the Bassmaster High School Championship in the U.S.
Come on.
And so recently we got a call from who called us from OBN? Anthony Dubé called us, the OBN youth director. And he called me first and he says, Jay, I got to let you know, I'm on the second team, one of the anglers can't make the event. So we want to offer the spot to Trevor. So I'll share the logo there for you. So Trevor is headed for the Bassmaster High School Championship on Clarks Hill, Georgia Reservoir in a month. 1 month to leave for Georgia.
Holy!
Trevor's fishing with Tristan, who he competed against last year. We had a call with Tristan and his dad, and so we're back to full planning mode again. So, yeah, we have a month. We have a month to plan. The OBN is helping us with a stipend. Now, I'm going to give my son a lot of credit here. We don't have a bass boat, so he went out and found a captain, a college angler from South Carolina.
Yeah.
South Carolina, which Clarks Hill is close to South Carolina border. And this is what goes on at these high school events. A lot of the kids come from all over the world, some of them. And they offer to be captains. And so, for basically gas money, Trevor found it. What's his name?
His name's Jameson Martin.
So Jameson's gonna be the captain for Trevor and Tristan in Georgia, and so we just have to get their butts down there. And the event, so it's about 15-hour drive, and it's going to be oh my God, Georgia in August. Are you kidding me?
Last month, the very first week of May, it was 40 degrees all week, and it's probably gonna be warmer in the end of July. So we're looking forward to that.
Yeah.
If you think I'm burnt now, you wait.
Oh, no kidding! You talk about heat stroke. Holy crap!
Yeah. So this is it. This is the biggest high school bass tournament in the world. Actually, Trevor's going to be fishing against Mike Iconelli's son, Pete Lusick, who's Mike's buddy. His son qualified. This is it. This is the biggest high school bass tournament in the world. And Trevor's going to go represent Ontario. He qualified as an Erie Bassmaster member last year. He wasn't going to fish the events this year because he ages out, but he's still eligible this year, so he's gonna go. So I had to let Dad didn't say yes right away. Dad needs to digest these things for a couple days when these things first happen, but no, he has our support, and of course we'll support him. So yeah, we're looking at Airbnbs and maybe have the girls fly down because it's just a once in a lifetime opportunity. So. Yeah, so it's happening. So we're in full planning and research mode. So that's kind of why this week turned into a staycation. We had some big plans to go up to rent some. Trevor and I were going to do a guys' weekend or guys' week up in like Central Ontario and hit some lakes we haven't been to. And then this came up, and I'm like, maybe we got to save some eggs for that trip to Georgia. So we'll do fishing trips in Ontario another time. So.
Well, this is a wonderful second choice, I will say. I mean, who doesn't like to go up and fish some uncharted waters? But my Lord, speaking of uncharted, Trevor, holy crap. I can't even begin to ask. I wouldn't even begin to know where to start. How do you feel, man? This must be such a buzz.
Yeah. When I got the message, it was kind of like finally. Because again, like he said, I've been the runner-up for like so many years in a row, and like fishing like the lakes that I've never been to before, and it's like I'm this close every time. So it's like when I got the text, it was like my mom wanted me to do it right away. Like she didn't even care. She told me right away. She's like, because I was thinking about not doing it because it was also on the same weekend we go up north for our family cottage trip.
Right.
So I was like, I don't know if I want to miss that cottage, but my mom, Heather, was like, you are doing this. So thanks to Mom. But no, Scott, it feels really good. Tristan, my partner, I've called him a few times now. I've met the guy in person. He's won this event 2 years in a row. So he's a fantastic angler.
Yeah, the Ontario event. Yeah.
At the Ontario event. Yeah. So he's a phenomenal angler and a really great person to talk to. So I'm pretty pumped. This fishery is completely different from anything we're used to. It's full of like blueback herring and giant gizzard shad. So it's going to be a really, really cool event, and I'm super pumped to do it. So yeah.
We even trying to find captains. We actually reached out to Cooper and Danny as well because they They are Ontario high school champions as well, and they've been to this event before. And Trevor already found a captain, but we got well wishes from them. So like it's been great, man. So yeah, it's so we got lots of work to do, but it's going to be a busy next few weeks, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, congratulations to the entire Barnucz family, but especially to you, Trevor, for finally qualifying for what you've worked so hard in the past to get to. That I can't begin to imagine the sense of accomplishment you feel right now. That is so awesome.
Dude, last year we were in Oklahoma. This year we're to Georgia. Like, dude,
I know. I know. It's well freaking done, man.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not. Listen, I know I'm beating and flogging a dead horse. I'm not the least bit surprised. I saw this, coming a long time ago. Eventually, Jay, I'm going to be talking to him, on these lives every Monday at some point. Trevor, this is so awesome, dude. Good for you. I'm stoked for you and your partner. I think this is a great experience. And my Lord, if you end up doing well, sky's the limit.
Yeah. What happens if you do well?
Well, if we do well enough, so there's going to be like all the Bass colleges are going to be there. So there's a media day, so we get to talk to all the colleges and stuff in the States.
They do it's almost like a combine kind of thing on the one day.
It's exactly what it sounds like. It's exactly what it sounds like.
And then if we do well enough, we don't get any like cash prize, but we get money towards school. So I'm pretty sure the winners last year got like $10,000 scholarship to school. And then it trickles down after that, but it's pretty cool. And a Canadian, I think the only team that has ever won that tournament from internationally was Cooper and Danny when it was on the St. Lawrence River years ago. And since then, a Canadian team hasn't done well. So I'm not saying that it's going to be really tough, but I'm really confident going in. And we're just going to go down there and have fun. So,
jeez, man. Oof.
So we haven't told anyone this yet. You're the first to hear on the show.
Well, I am honored, lads, to be able to share this news with the rest of CFN, and judging by the congrats that are coming on the comments, it's well deserved. And dude, we're so excited for you. I would pray for nothing but a great showing, but you know what? The experience in itself will be an achievement in itself. It'll be a trophy that you will never forget. So, that's so cool. Good for you, bud. Good for you, man. Love it. Love it.
What we'll do is, I know we've been talking about, we're going to have, you and I got to get together, Scotty, and talk about getting some of the juniors on here for the upcoming qualifier in August. But it'd be nice to maybe get Trevor and Tristan on one night, maybe before they go on their trip and maybe after. So we'll do maybe a tourney Tuesday with these two guys. We should.
Let's do it. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, listen, I can't thank you enough for sharing your news with us first. And congratulations again. Holy smokes. I don't know who's more excited about it, me or you right now, because that's great news, dude. That's awesome stuff.
Thank you,
and I can imagine Dad's probably going to have a scotch or two to celebrate this as well. That's
awesome. Yeah. Dad had a few extra whiskey sours last week.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, so it's it's been a big week here at the house, and so, but what we're gonna do this week is we're just gonna go fishing, man. That's all.
We got a kayak tournament this week.
We got a kayak tournament Thursday night. We're just looking at the wind forecast, and I got the week off, so I had Trevor take the week off too. So we're gonna go fishing every day this week and try. Although you're gonna have to wear socks, dude, because you can't wear sandals.
Yeah, I know, it's really bad.
It's really bad. Oh my God.
I can't even begin to imagine that.
Yeah.
I can feel the pain from here. But never a boring day in the Barnucz household. I'll tell you. Holy smoke. Well done. You guys win for the most exciting weekend and news to share with our CFN community. Awesome stuff. Well, I want to bid you two farewell.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining, Trevor. Thanks for doing this, dude. And again, congratulations. We will definitely be on the edge of our seats, waiting and watching you embark on this incredible opportunity.
Thanks, Scotty, and thanks everyone who's been wishing well wishes in the comments, and he'll keep you guys updated. So I know that'll happen. So yeah, big shout out to Jeff Penner, his partner last year. Big shout out to Jeff, and actually a big shout out to all of the captains who have helped Trevor and other kids at these events, and for these opportunities to happen. It wouldn't happen without Anthony Dubé, and before Anthony, Curtis Cronkright. Like, these coordinators of these programs, these opportunities don't happen without those volunteers. And so just a big shout out to all those people that have made it possible. And, you know, now it's happening to Trevor, but it's going to happen to other anglers in the future, these young anglers. So it's just kudos to everyone for these programs out there. It's so important for these kids. So
awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Right on, you two. Well, listen, thanks for sharing this, and thanks for sharing your Monday with us as well. And we want to wish you both a happy Canada Day. Please pass that on to the rest of the family as well.
We will. Happy Canada Day, and we'll see you next week, buddy.
Sounds good, guys.
All
you
right.
Take care. Wow, what incredible news. What a show. And the fact that we were able to be the exclusive to share it, that is going to be, wow, what a life moment Trevor's about to embark on. And it's so cool that he's got his family to share it with, as we do with you guys and gals every Monday with CFN Live. We truly appreciate all of you that join us, whether you watch on the Monday or throughout the week. It really doesn't matter. The fact that you're here and you join us and you're interested and support us on a regular means the world. We have a lot going on in CFN land. Obviously, we have that much more because we're going to be following Trevor on this incredible journey. But I'll tell you, we have so much going on that Wednesday, we're going to all enjoy Canada Day tomorrow. Wednesday, we have two guests that are going to be coming on. Mike Consul is going to be joining us to talk about the pre-fishing aspect of the tournament up in Spanish. And then Paul Taylor is going to be joining us to talk a little bit about his kayak tournament, as well as Fishapalooza that he hosts and we sponsor each and every year. Lots going on. We will see you all Wednesday. Really looking forward to talking to Mike and talking to Paul. But in the meantime, folks, enjoy your Canada Day long weekend. Well-deserved. And hopefully you do so safely. And we see you Wednesday as well as next Monday right here on CFN Live. Thanks for your time. Truly appreciate you guys. Love you all. Take care. Get out fishing. Enjoy yourselves. Peace. Dave, take us away, dude.
Well, as much as I hate to admit it, I guess we've run out of time. So I've enjoyed it, but I'm going to do something I haven't done since season 1. Turn out the lights, the party's over. They say that all good things must end.